Welcome to Corinne's Picks. This episode, we're going to be exploring the art and photography of a renowned artist, Shagufta Khan. Shagufta, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me over.
I've just enjoyed watching your Instagram and your Facebook and just seeing just the different series of works that you've had. I knew you were as a photographer, but now I'm so glad that I'm able to see your paintings. Tell us a little bit about the contact of this body of work. And I guess first, basically the paintings, and maybe a little bit about your work as a photographer.
Surely. Well, my work as a painter has recently re-emerged in last 2 years. I was trained when I was younger. I was trained as an artist. I attended a art council back home in Islamabad, Pakistan, for a couple of years, and I was a teenager at that time. So that's where my formal training occurred. And then I moved to the United States, and I got married, and came here. And when you move roots, it takes a while to actually reestablish yourself. So my art was got on hold as well. So it's just in recent last 2 years that I have gone back to painting, and I started in May, actually August of 2019. And I'm an abstract artist. I started, even though I was trained as a realist, I came back with the abstract art, and I have painted almost 500 plus art pieces since then, which I think is pretty insane. I look back and I wonder how I did that. But yeah, my art is basically eclectic with an abstract genre.
Okay,
So that's
and
what art is about.
okay, what about your work as a photographer? Just a little bit
All
more.
right. Well, the thing is that since I was a kid, my father encouraged us to take photographs. And when I was 16, he gifted me with a camera, a Minolta. And I just got into it. I took a course at Columbia University when I was studying there in photography, and got really into it. And I took it as a side hustle. For a while, I would take photographs for wedding ceremonies and whatnot. And it became a hobby slash a side business. So um, that's my story about my photography.
Okay, fantastic. Before we get into your images, I just want to know a little bit about what inspires you in terms of deciding to paint or to compose a photograph. What is your main inspiration, if any?
Very interesting question, Corinne. The reality is that I restarted painting because of some sort of an internal struggle that I was going through. So my early art actually came about without actually a conscious thought. I say conscious because the reality is that there was a thought, which it was subconsciously there, and I didn't realize that it was there till I put my brushes to the canvas. Early on, actually, I was painting with only my hands and my arms. I would dip myself into paint, and it was like as if I was somewhere else. I was channeling emotions and whatnot, my struggles and everything just came onto the canvas. It was just like a pouring of energy on canvas. That's how I started with in 2019 with no plan. When I say no plan, I say that because I didn't consciously plan a piece. However, as I would paint, I would start to see something. All right, and that I will let myself be driven instinctively towards what I was seeing. So then I would go towards that consciously. But initially it would start with no plan. And that's how I was viewing it. Now that I reflect back, it was a subconscious thought. I was, just trying to express my emotions, my feelings, my impressions of the world that surrounds me, what's happening in my life, what's happening in the world, anything that has a impression on me. It gets translated into art. So even today, I don't really plan any piece. um, Now, however, now I recognize what it is. I recognize that I just, my art is about expressing my impression of the world, of my internal struggles, happiness, sorrows. You might, in fact, I'm going to ask you, because you have watched my progression as an artist. At some point, I would like you to tell me how you see it, because I think my art has evolved, and you can see my life journey, honestly. So my art, actually, I would say it's me. My art is pieces of me. So if you put them together, you will know about me.
Well, I would agree with you because I think early on it was more abstract feelings, but I noticed that there is a little bit more intent in terms of having a statement. Because I told you that my favorite pieces was number 6, 7, and 8, with which the audience will see in a couple of minutes, and have a those are slightly figurative and have people in them. And I think you are making a statement. It might be slightly sociological in those three pieces. And then
I
there's some images where there are women's faces, and it might be your own face or someone else's face, but I think there are slight statements in there.
Absolutely. As I went on, I realized there is a subconscious thought, and now I actually, once I start a piece, I start seeing that the theme, or what I'm trying to express. So now I realize that, and my there are various themes in my art. And when you mentioned social issues or social ideas, absolutely, I am driven a lot by my social issues, or just expressing what's happening in societies, or an idealistic family or relationships, or uh, just there is definitely themes emerging in my art. And so I that is why I have various themes, sorry, series, that I have, started. I have the Cosmic Dust series, which expresses my love for the universe, for the astronomy, for astrology, just the grandeur of this universe, the creator, the energy that it is. So that series represent that. Then I have
So
I,
actually, let's start as you talk.
mhm.
Let's show some of the images that way people know exactly what you're talking about. So continue to talk, but let's talk over the images. So let's see the
Let's do
first
that.
image.
Okay, so this is the caption of this one is Summer Dreams. And how did this come about? So all my pieces actually have a story. And then actually, if I give someone a piece, or somebody wants a piece, it accompanies a card of that particular story that goes with that piece and how it came about. So for this one, I've always had a innate desire to just experience outdoors. So this is, and just lay down on a lush garden and look at the universe and all the stars. So Summer Dream is actually my reflection of me just being there under the open sky, night sky, laying down on a green lush lawn, just looking up at the magnificent night sky. So that's what it represents. Does
Okay,
it? Mhm.
um, the next um, the next one, please.
Okay, so this one is actually called sarson fields. Sarson is actually mustard fields that are grown in Pakistan. So this is a little bit of a melancholic. It may seem very upbeat and happy, but when I created it, it's like my desire to actually experience my homeland, and this is an expression of that area because we have Sarson Field in Pakistan, where I'm from. Actually, originally I'm an American, Pakistani American. So yeah, so this reminds me of those fields, the mustard fields.
Okay, the next image.
Okay, so this one is actually I'm happy that you picked this one up. This is again, I'm fascinated by the night sky and the idea that we are not alone. So this is my depiction of a night sky, and you're looking up at the ceiling. It's actually, I'll give you the name, looking up at the galaxies. So if you see there are squares, and if you look at a little bit closer, you'll see some faces, some hands. What I'm trying to depict is that we are not alone, and there are in this wide universe, there are other beings. So this is my depiction of that.
That was really interesting, Shagufta. So we're going to take a short break and come back to look at some more of your images.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Welcome back to Corinne's Picks. We're talking to Shagufta Khan and exploring her works of art. That was just wonderful. Before the break, we were looking at one of your paintings. I want to continue in that vein. Can we see the next painting?
Okay, so this painting is from a heart series, and it came about 8 9 months ago. After about a year of painting, just all the themes that came to my mind, and as you can see, it actually came about close to or slightly before Valentine's Day. So the theme is more romantic, love, and all that, and it depicts just a happy emotions that one can experience. As I said, my art really represents my internal state or my emotions, and I feel that whatever I was struggling with, I started to come in terms and happier. So some of my art, a lot of my art actually, started to reflect that in it. So this is it's called the glowing hearts, and this one particularly has glowing paint. So if you put it in your room and it's dark, you will see the hearts glowing, and that's why it's named glowing hearts.
Wonderful. Can we see the next painting? I want to definitely excited about seeing more of your art.
Awesome. All right. Well, what does sun represent? It represents life, happiness, to me at least. I think to anyone. And this is a painting of a sunflower representing happiness, uh, new beginnings, and the hearts represent joy of or anticipation of a brighter, happier, content future. And this is a sunflower. I hope you can see it there. And that's how this one came about.
It's wonderful. What would you say are some of the highlights of your painting career so far?
Highlights. Well, I got extremely lucky, and I would say that because COVID, uh, though halted a lot of things, just daily life, for me, it provided an amazing opportunity. I say that because I had my first exhibition in October 2019. It started then and ended. It lasted for 2 months, and it happened because our local art, Pacific Groves Art Center, had some galleries open because some of the artists couldn't really display their work. So otherwise, there's a 1 year process of, you have to apply with your artwork, and they sit down with it's a long process, but that got cut down to a shorter process, and my art was picked to be displayed. And I had like two full galleries. Again, I would say because of COVID, some artists couldn't display, and I was local and I was able to. So for me, COVID has been a blessing. I know this is a controversial statement, but I think it's been a blessing for a lot of different reasons for a lot of people. It's just the way if you see how to see it. So that having that exhibition in Pacific Road Art Council, Art Center for 2 months, that's the highlight. And then I had a couple of other exhibitions. One of them, two of them actually are in us continuing. I have my artwork in Friends of Art at Mission Vehego in LA. My social injustices series, and three of the pieces are for display there. And I have the tribute to Frontliner was an event created by one of the artists who gathered like-minded folks to create art to just say thank you to the frontliners who have worked, tremendously during COVID. So that event happened in LA, and those pieces are still at a display at various galleries. So first they were at Space at the Gap Gallery in LA, and now they have moved to Museo galleries in LA as well. So it's a continuing exhibition which is moving to different locations after every 15 months. So I think that is another big highlight for me. And an interview that was with a LA magazine really, brought me to the spotlight.
It's fantastic. Well, hopefully in 2021, we'll hear about many more highlights in your career. Let's get back to some of the artwork. Let's look at the next image. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the piece.
Absolutely. Okay, so what I would do with this one, and because that's what I do with my art, is that I would like to give you the caption, and I would like your impression on this one. It is called the counter actually divine counterparts. Before I tell you what it is about, I would like to know what you see in it.
Actually, I mean, I think I like the color palette. It reminds me a little bit about the figures in the middle remind me a little bit of the like petroglyphs where you have cave paintings in the Caribbean. Um,
Nice.
I love the fact that that there is that yin and yang circle. And I do,
Lovely.
and it looks like it has a lot of texture to it too. I like the texture.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. It has a lot of glitter. It has the yin and yang. And if you look closely, it has two people standing there amidst of the universe. It's basically a very dreamy, outwardly worldly piece. So it depicts idealistic or ideal relationship where the whole world exists or revolves around two people and who are so well connected to each other. I mean, there's a concept of having a divine counterpart, somebody who's your soulmate. uh, do we find those people in our lives? We may or we may not, but this depicts that kind of connection.
Great. Let's look at the next one.
Okay, so this came about, as I said, as I've told you, Corinne, that my art actually reflects what happens around me or leaves an impression on me. So my younger sister, the name of the piece is "Breaking the Glass Ceiling," and I think we are all are aware of what that means. And it is the same back home. And my youngest sister has really gotten up into her company and has become one of the directors, which is pretty hard in any society or any place, I think. So this is actually, she sent me a photograph and I was like so happy. One of these people is her. I'm not sure whether you can identify her. She has some jewelry on, so she's standing amongst the top notch of the company, and she's the only female there. So this art represent that event that happened when she was promoted.
That's one of my favorites, I would say. I love the way that the people almost look like drawings. So it's
Mhm.
almost combining different painterly styles.
It is painted in a different way. I mean, I'm basically dragging paint on canvas. I prep the canvas and then it's experiment with different techniques. So in the last couple of months I have started using scratching of paints or dragging paint or just smudging paint. So this is one of the new techniques I was experimenting with, and interestingly all the pieces that came about with this technique were really appreciated. So I'm happy to hear your impression.
No, I think that was a very successful piece. I like the clothing of the women and the floor that they're standing in. I like that there's different degrees of color.
Hmm. Very nice.
So can we have the next image?
Okay. All right. Well, this one is for my social injustices series. I am actually planning an exhibition that is just purely based on this theme. The caption for this one is sex trafficking. My social injustices series, the aim of that series is to actually bring to light certain social issues that still exist in the world, more maybe in developing world, but I feel they exist all over the world. And I, as an artist, I feel it's my responsibility to actually put a spotlight. I mean, I want to do some positive impact on my community and at large at the world level. So basically, this is sex trafficking depicting women. I'm not sure whether you can see it, but they are just submissively standing, and they are victims of sex trafficking, and that's the theme of the idea behind this one.
I think that's really important because I'm a big proponent of art and activism. I think that we can say a lot and do a lot just by creating images.
Absolutely, I think that is one of the main aims should be an aim of an artist to bring about some sort of change or some sort of awareness through their art. Uh, Bringing happiness or joy to people is another aim. Some of my art is actually aimed towards that, for people to have, to make them think, to reflect. And then there are themes like these, which are, are a little bit heavier. However, they are geared towards creating or bringing issues to spotlight, so that it can be talked about and we can do something about that.
So we only have a short time left. Maybe
Mhm.
we could see two or three of your photography before ending the show. Maybe we could show it very quickly. We have like 2 minutes left, but if we could show
Mhm.
them in like 10 seconds each, the photography, that would be great.
This is a cactus with its fruit. Um, I'm in California, so we get these a lot, and the fruit is so sweet. It's nice, a little bit
Okay,
thorny.
next image, please.
And this is the ceiling of a hotel in the Middle East. It's all gold plated.
The next image.
Mhm. This is in New Orleans, one of the parks.
Okay, great. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I'm really honored that you would be on our show. I really enjoy your art, and I look forward to seeing more, more of your art in the future.
Thank you so very much for inviting me, Corinne. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.